2023 was the first time I ever watched the Game Awards fully from beginning to end, and it was an experience. Not only because of what happened in the show itself, but also because it aired at 12:30 AM for me and lasted until 4 AM, so I was up late. Shout out to all my viewers who are up late watching it with me. It's already a challenge to endure 4 hours of uninterrupted video game based cringe without the added sleep deprivation on top. Now I will say right off the bat, I liked the Game Awards. I thought it was a fun show.
What?
Now don't get me wrong, it wasn't without its issues, but watching the show was actually an enjoyable experience, probably more so because I was streaming it. Now when it comes to the Game Awards, there are 3 things you typically expect to see. 1. Game developers and other members of the gaming industry being recognized for their work over the last year. 2. Forced appearances from celebrities who clearly don't give a damn about video games, much less the people who make them. And 3. Ads upon ads upon ads. Now, of these 3 things, the 2023 Game Awards had 2 of them in abundance, and 1 was noticeably lacking. Now, I won't lie, when I tuned into the show this year, I came for all 3 things. Yes, I want to see people getting recognized for their efforts, but I also want to see the game trailers. I want to see what's on the horizon, not only from the big budget studios, but also what gems might be coming from smaller game studios, which I guess are still big enough to be able to afford a slot in the Game Awards. And when it comes to the forced celebrity appearances at these awards, I have to admit, I watch for that too.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always!
Now the broadcast kicked off not actually with the Game Awards main show itself, but with a pre-show hosted by Sydney Goodman. And one thing that confused me about this was they actually announced a lot of winners in this pre-show. 8 awards, a quarter of all the award categories, were given away during this pre-show, including Content Creator of the Year, which I noticeably was not nominated for. No biggie though, no biggie, there's always next year. But not only did they announce these winners, a lot of the most interesting game trailers were shown during this pre-show. And it really made me question, like, what makes this the pre-show and not the actual show when it's basically the same thing? Super Mario Bros. Wonder won Best Family Game, which came as a surprise to absolutely no one. That category was essentially tailor-made for Nintendo. They haven't won it every year, but they have won it most years. The Pony Island 2 trailer delivered one of the most pleasant surprises of the entire showcase for me by featuring Sungwon Cho, otherwise known as Prozody. This guy is killing it right now. He was in God of War Ragnarok, Borderlands 3, he's in that new Blackberry film. I just like seeing this guy win, what can I say? Then Forza Motorsport won the Innovation in Accessibility Award, which I wanted to mention because in the last few years, there's been an increased focus on making games playable to a wider group of people through methods I would have never even thought of, and I think that's pretty cool. Also, while the recipients were giving their speech, they just narrowly avoided the wrap it up music.
We're really proud of the work that we've been able to do, so thank you very much.
Congratulations. Damn, they started doing the music on them. Did you hear that?
Unfortunately, this would only foreshadow what was to come. Like, honestly, it got bad. They then gave away the esports awards, and I just want to call attention to this esports coach's name. Guess how you pronounce this? I dare you, guess. Ecstasy. Are you taking the piss? Why is there a queue?
Yes, I was hoping for a new Persona game, that is. I still want to be Sydney.
Listen, Sydney tried her best, okay? Once the pre-show was done, it was time for the actual Game Awards, and at this point, I was just curious to see how the main show was gonna be any different. Now, of course, Geoff Keighley comes on stage as the host of the Game Awards. I actually don't know how this guy became the Game Awards guy. Like, I'm not saying he's not good at what he does. He's actually very good at hosting the show. It's just, I don't know where he came from. Like, whose mans is this? The show started with Geoff shouting out different people in attendance. You can tell some of them were not expecting it at all, and others, I don't even know what to say about.
Yo, stop looking directly into the camera, bro. That was so weird.
The first award was Best Performance, and they had Christopher Judge present it. Now, if you're not familiar, he actually won this award the year before for his performance as Kratos in God of War Ragnarok. And then he proceeded to give an acceptance speech that was 8 minutes long. You can tell the people backstage were not prepared for it at all because they didn't start playing wrap it up music until 6.5 minutes in. They were probably on Audio Jungle purchasing the track as he was talking. So they had a funny little nod to that moment in this year's show.
It is such a pleasure to be back here. I have such great memories of last year, Mr. Pacino, forgetting to thank my wife.
Now, I actually thought that was really funny, and it would have gone down as a great bit if only they didn't proceed to essentially do that very thing to almost every single award winner over the next 3 hours. Seriously, just 3 minutes later, Neil Newman won the award for his performance as Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, and started getting the wrap it up music after less than 1 minute.
To my agents, I will thank you later. I'm sorry, I'm going to wrap it up apparently.
Turn the music
One thing
off,
I will
man.
say, please, if that's okay.
Turn the music
community has reached out to so many of us at Larian and said they were seen and they were represented by this game.
Listen, I know there's a program and they have a schedule to keep and everything, but are you seriously telling me that in this 3.5-hour award show, you couldn't find 2 minutes to let an award recipient speak? My man is emotional talking about the community that has been positively impacted by the game he had a part in. And he's being rushed off the stage? And to add insult to injury, literally right after, they had Matthew McConaughey come out and they let him talk for a good 1.5 minutes about a new game he's voice acting in. A game we don't even have a release date for yet.
Alright.
And this would unfortunately be a common theme throughout the show. Now, one thing that did get me hyped was that God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC, a roguelike game mode with additional story elements that was released only a few days after the show, and it's completely free. Santa Monica Studio was just moving in silence and then dropped that absolute bombshell out of nowhere. That's what I'm freaking talking about. I'm 100% going to be streaming that game right here on the channel. There was a live performance of a song from the upcoming Hellblade 2 game, and honestly, it was great. The guy on the drums was putting his all into it, trying his absolute best to give himself whiplash. Then we got a trailer where we saw some gameplay, and honestly, I never thought I'd say this, but I might just have to get myself an Xbox, cause damn! Alan Wake 2 won Best Narrative, and once again, the wrap-up music kicked in less than a minute into their speech.
Stop with the music. Oh my god.
Part of the show was also sponsored by the Lenovo Legion, which basically looks like a bulky-ass Switch. No shade to Lenovo. If you guys want to do a sponsorship, we can do it. It's just, you know, it had the Joy-Cons and everything.
Oh wow, it's a Switch.
Discord did an ad of the friendliest, most cooperative voice chat I have ever heard.
I am a baron. You are a border. I write decrees. You mix mortar.
I'm sorry, this is not what Discord is like.
The FTC might just fine them for false advertising.
It's a pleasure to welcome from the Muppets, that's right, the great Gonzo.
Thank you.
It's Gonzo!
Hey, Geoff.
In all fairness, this Muppets bit wasn't that bad. It's just, I can't help but think that if they had cut this segment from the show, there would have been enough extra time for the last 2 award winners to actually finish their speeches. Like seriously, Gonzo wasn't even advertising anything. Like, why was he there?
Well, any other great gaming highlights this year for you, Gonzo?
Are you kidding? Actually, if you have the time. Hey, you guys got a minute?
No, bruv. We don't! Cocoon won Best Debut Indie Game, and despite 2 people going up to receive the award, they played the speech over music. So not the wrap it up music, the actual this speech is over music after the guy was done talking, despite it being quite obvious that the lady standing right next to him had something to say too.
To Yeppe, Mads, and Jakob, and everyone at the team at Geometric, thank you so much for being such a wonderful partner on this game. Thank you.
She's not done. Let her speak. Let her speak.
So they got a grand total of 20 seconds before their music kicked in. My goodness. There were a few more trailers, and then Geoff rapid fire announced the winners of Best Action Game, Art Direction, VR Game, and Mobile Game. No one went on stage to accept their awards. There were no speeches, nothing. Geoff was like, listen, we'll send you your award in the post. We ain't got time for this. What we do have time for are these ads though, including an anti-vaping ad, which I couldn't even tell was anti-vaping because they made vaping look cool as hell. Like honestly, at first I thought it was an ad for vaping.
Are you battling a vape pen?
Nicotine addiction can make stress.
What? Wait, what?
After that, we had Hideo Kojima reveal his new game or whatever, and I don't say that to be aloof, it's just, I actually have no idea what it is.
Fam, if we don't get any gameplay, I wouldn't be surprised, but I will be... It's Hideo Kojima. Jesus Christ.
Like, sure, it was creepy, but what is it?
What kind of game are you making, Mr. Kojima?
It's really to make immersive and also something that no one has seen before is what I'm trying to do. And it is a game, don't get me wrong, but it's at the same time a movie, but at the same time a new form of media.
Brother, what are you talking about? They also brought out Jordan Peele, which I was admittedly very hyped about, until it turned into him and Kojima just repeatedly calling each other geniuses for 4 minutes straight.
A huge fan of Hideo. This man is an icon.
Jordan is one of those genius, and I've been a big fan of him.
From the first moment I played Metal Gear Solid 2, I knew I was experiencing the work of an artist whose craft just hits different.
I felt like we were friends from the past. We get on very well. We like things that we both like.
The Glaze Awards. The Meat Writing Awards.
I just want to stress that what this man is building here is unlike any other game. It is
okay, whatever,
crazy.
man.
Listen, Death Stranding was a very unique game that, although I never got around to playing myself, I did hear a lot about, and so I am curious about this new project. However, so far all you've shown is the girl from Euphoria crying, something which I can already see by just watching Euphoria, a 2-letter title for the game, and the director of Get Out saying the game/movie/entirely new form of media is going to be really good. That took 9 minutes, after having just rapid fire announced the winners of 4 awards at the Game Awards. You cannot be serious. They then revealed that Rocket League is Fortnite now.
What?
And that's on top of Lego also being Fortnite now, before showing a release date trailer for Black Myth Wukong. This is one of the best looking games shown in my opinion, and on top of the gorgeous visuals and pretty exciting looking gameplay, I was really enticed by the music. I feel like the soundtrack for this game is gonna go hard, and I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Damn, what is that, bro?
Next up was the Games for Impact Award, which, according to the website, is given to a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. And according to Google, pro-social means relating to or denoting behavior which is positive, helpful, and intended to promote social acceptance and friendship. And the award was given to former president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Shuhei Yoshida.
Huh?
Alright, the award was actually won by a game called Chia, but the developers were not in attendance at the show, so Yoshida accepted it on their behalf. The developers did post a video of their reaction to winning though, which was really nice to see. Tales of Kenzera Zhao was revealed, but what caught my interest the most wasn't actually the game, but the passion I could feel coming from Abubakar Salim, a British Kenyan actor who says he set out to create this game in memory of his late father and as a way to process his grief.
So I took the biggest risks of my life, and through everything that I had in making a game, a piece of art that honored him, an ode to the people we have loved and lost.
On top of that, it genuinely looks like a fun game, so I am interested in trying it out for myself. We had a great performance of a song from the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which ended with every light in the venue being pointed at this guy for no apparent reason at all.
This guy was freaking illuminated, bruv.
Then they had another set of rapid fire awards, including Best Score, Best Indie Game, Best Community Support, and Best Fighting Game. Again, it's disappointing that these categories weren't given the proper time to shine. It makes it seem like the Game Awards committee doesn't deem these aspects of gaming as important enough, and it's a shame that the winners don't get a chance to say something on stage. Honestly, if they were going to present most of the awards like this, the show really could have just been an email. I was excited to see that a Blade game is in development by Arcane Studios. It was only a CGI teaser that we got, but I really enjoy Arcane's games, namely Dishonored and Deathloop, so I'm confident they'll do a good job with this one.
Voilà, merci beaucoup.
Looking forward to it, looking forward to it.
Whoa! Alright!
That's two. Dingle Bell,
Yes! Kill that cameraman!
Right, awesome.
Murder him!
All right.
Yes! They then had Anthony Mackie come on and listen, he was cool in the Avengers movies and he seems like a chill dude. But this man's mission was apparently to waste time on that stage.
I have one thing to do before I get on to the award I'm supposed to represent up here, okay?
Stop acknowledging the people screaming in the crowd. They're gonna
Okay,
don't
all right.
encourage
I know
them.
I say a lot of different
Don't
things. You can't
encourage
scream them all. Don't you yell at me. I love you more. I love you.
Stop encouraging the screaming, man.
What is wrong with y'all?
Stop it. They're not funny.
Okay, stop it. You.
Like, if there was one person I wish they would play the Wrap It Up music on, it was this guy. Then the cast of Alan Wake 2 performed one of the songs from the game's soundtrack, which was fun. I do think it's nice that the show celebrates the original music of these games, rather than just having some random unrelated musical performance, so I really appreciate that. Then there were even more ads, and a lot of them were just pre-rendered CGI trailers, which, don't get me wrong, they're useful for establishing the tone and vibe that a developer is going for with a game, but these sorts of trailers for games is like a musician describing what their album is gonna sound like. Oh, you sing real good in it, huh? Oh, the beat's nice, yeah? Okay, alright, good to know. They then had Simu Liu waddle onto the stage with his foot in a cast, because apparently the Game Awards is contractually obligated to allow Hollywood actors to hog up as much screen time as possible. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom won Best Action Adventure Game, which for me confirmed that Spider-Man 2 would not be going home with any awards that night, because it definitely wasn't winning Game of the Year. After some ads, they did even more rapid fire awards: Best RPG, Best Sim/Strategy Game, Best Sports/Racing Game, Best Multiplayer Game, and the Player's Voice Award. They couldn't get those out of the way fast enough so they could show us more ads, including another supposed anti-vaping PSA.
Yeah, dude. I feel like you can hear it in my voice. I'm checked out now.
Nicotine addiction can make stress worse.
Wait, what? Best Game Direction went to Alan Wake 2, giving them a total of 3 awards, and thankfully the Wrap It Up music did not play them off. They were given a whole minute and 13 seconds to thank their team and supporters. And after, yes, more ads, Timothée Chalamet introduced the final musical performance of the evening, which was an orchestral medley of the soundtracks of all the Game of the Year nominees. This was actually fantastic. Major props to the musicians, and especially to this guy, absolutely tearing it up on the woodwind instruments. And yes, I said instruments plural. He kept pulling out different woodwinds. I don't even know what this is.
What is that instrument, bruv? What is that? This dude is playing industrial piping.
This was the best musical performance of the night, in a night that was frankly filled with fantastic musical performances, and that's one thing I cannot fault the 2023 Game Awards for. They really killed it with that. And at last, after 3.5 freaking hours, they announced Game of the Year.
And the Game of the Year is...
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
To very few people's surprise, Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year and in total took home 6 awards, the biggest winner of the night. It was heartwarming to see how emotional they were. They gave a nod to the members of their team who had passed away during development, and I personally am immensely grateful that their speech was not cut short. Granted, it was exactly a minute long, and this guy probably had the infamous "please wrap it up" sign staring him in the face, but at least they were spared the music. Overall, the 2023 Game Awards were frustrating and fun and boring and exciting, and it dragged. And it also somehow wasn't long enough to properly honor the people it supposedly exists to honor. In other words, it was a mess that had its moments. Keep in mind though, the Game Awards is not the official awards show for video games. It's just the show with the most corporate funding behind it. That's why it's filled up the ass with advertisements. Without them, the show could not exist. I see the Game Awards as a fun way for enjoyers of video games to come together and have one big celebration of the hobby and industry before the year ends. It's not perfect. Honestly, it's not even good. But regardless, I'll be tuning in next year. My only hope is that they cut it out with the wrap it up music. Like, I honestly cannot imagine how annoying it must be to be in the middle of saying something and then music cuts.